A very good morning, students, to all of you, and a warm welcome in this same 6 syllabus of TY BCom. As you all are aware that this syllabus is also divided into 4 modules. Let us start with the module 1. Module 1 is having 4 lessons, and the first lesson is International Trade, Ricardian Theory of Comparative Cost. This lesson, the question can be that explain the Ricardian theory of comparative cost. So you have to give the entire explanation the way I am telling you now. To begin with, you have to explain about international trade. International trade deals with trade between the countries. It involves export and import of goods and services. So what is about the Ricardian theory? Ricardian theory of comparative cost. David Ricardo agreed that absolute difference in cost gives a clear reason for a trade to take place. He argued that even when country has absolute advantage in the production of both commodities, it is beneficial for that country to specialize in the production of that commodity in which it has greater comparative advantage. The other country can be left to specialize in the production of that commodity in which the first commodity has less comparative advantage. According to Ricardo, the essence of international trade is not the absolute difference in the cost but comparative difference in cost. Let us understand the theory. Before we go ahead, there are some assumptions that we have to understand. When you are giving the theory, you have to give in a specific way. So first introduction and then now assumptions. There are 12 assumptions, and in assumptions just you have to give only one line. Number 1, there are 2 countries and 2 commodities. There is a perfect competition both in commodity and factor markets. Cost of production is expressed in terms of labor, that is, the value of the commodity is measured in terms of labor hours, days required to produce it. Commodities are also exchanged on the basis of labor content of each good. Labor is the only factor of production other than natural resources. Labor is homogeneous, that is identical in efficiency in a particular country. Labor is perfectly mobile within the country but perfectly immobile between countries. There is a free trade, that is a movement of goods between the countries. It is not hindered by any restrictions. Production is subject to constant returns to scale. There is no technological change. Trade between 2 countries take place on barter system. Full employment exists in both the countries and there is no transport cost. Based on this assumption, now we will see what is the theory. On the basis of above assumptions, David Ricardo explained his comparative cost difference theory taking England and Portugal and wine and cloth as 2 commodities. The table explains the principle of comparative advantage expressed in terms of labor. Portugal requires less hours of labor for both wine and cloth. 1 unit of wine in Portugal is produced with the help of 80 laborers as against 120 labor hours required in England. In the case of cloth too, Portugal requires less labor hours than England. From this, it could be argued that there is no need for the trade as Portugal produces both the commodities at lower cost. But Ricardo tried to prove that Portugal stands to gain by specializing in the commodity in which it has a greater advantage. However, Ricardo tried to prove that Portugal stands to gain by specializing in the commodity in which it has greater advantage. Comparative cost advantage of Portugal can be expressed in terms of cost ratio. Cost ratios of producing wine and cloth are shown in the table. Portugal has advantage of lower cost of production both in wine and cloth. However, the difference in cost, that is the comparative advantage, is greater in the production of wine, that is 1.5 minus 0.66 is equal to 0.84, than the cloth, that is 1.11 minus 0.9 is equal to 0.21. Even in terms of absolute numbers of labor, Portugal has larger comparative advantage in wine, that is 40 labors less than England as compared to cloth, where the difference is only 10. Accordingly, Portugal specializes in production of wine, where its comparative advantage is larger, and England specializes in the production of cloth, where its comparative advantage is lesser than wine. This is what is the example. Now see the diagram. In the diagram, PL and EG are the production possibility curve. PL and EG are the production possibility curves of Portugal and England respectively. Portugal has absolute advantage in the production of both the commodities, that is OP is greater than OE. OP is greater than OE, or OL is greater than OG. OL is greater than OG. ET line, this line, ET line, which is parallel to PL, tells us Portugal has greater advantage in the production of wine, as it can produce OT of wine, which is OT of wine, which is greater than OG, which England can produce. England will specialize in cloth, where its comparative advantage is less than what is in the production of wine. This is what is the explanation of diagram. Now let us evaluate Ricardian theory. In evaluation, we will be showing some drawbacks or some limitations. Number one, the theory is based on unrealistic assumptions. Now all the assumptions, the 12 numbers we have discussed, the one by one we are giving here, and same we say that they are not correct. Number one, perfect competition. The real world full of imperfections both in commodity and factor markets. Number two, two countries, two commodities. The theory is confined to limited case of two countries and two commodities, whereas trade takes place between many countries and in a large number of commodities. Labor theory of value. Value of goods is expressed in terms of labor content. Labor theory of value developed by classical economists has too many limitations, and so they are not applicable in reality. Full employment. The assumption of full employment helps the theory to explain trade on the basis of comparative advantage. But in reality, there is no way we can find there is a full employment. Mobility of factors of production. As against the assumption of perfect mobility between countries, we witness difficulties in the mobility of labor and capital within the country itself. Next, absence of transport cost. Exclusion of transport cost makes the comparative advantage theory meaningless. This is only one drawback. Under this, these all six assumptions are there, they are not real. So that we have to explain in this way. Then the second evaluation or criticism is static theory. The comparative advantage theory is based on constant returns to scale. Further, the cost remains the same as there is no change in the technology. In other words, theory is based on certain given conditions which do not undergo any change. But in real world, the world is never static. The next, demand ignored. The Ricardian theory concentrates only on the supply side of the goods. Each country specializes in the production of commodity based on its comparative advantage. Next, complete specialization. The comparative advantage theory comes to an implicit conclusion of complete specialization. But such complete specialization is unrealistic even in two countries and two commodities model. It is possible only if two countries happen to be almost identical in size and demand. Next, free trade, no free trade. Ricardian theory assumes free trade, that is, no restriction on the movement of goods between the countries. It is unrealistic to assume not to have any restriction on trade. The real world witnesses a lot of tariff and non-tariff barriers on international trade. Ricardian theory is not applicable to the developing countries, as these countries are nowhere near full employment. These are the criticisms on Ricardian theory, but we can say that this theory is having lot of advantages also, and it has remained as a basic principle of international trade. Students, the question can be only one question on this topic, and as you all are aware that the second question is fully of module 1, which is for 15 marks, and this can be asked for 7 marks or 8 marks. The entire information you have to give in this way only. The first point you have to show about this little bit of introduction part. This is what you have to give. Then second point will be assumptions. Third point will be example. The example is very clear. And then comparative advantage, then diagram and evaluation. All the points you have to cover in that for getting your good marks in this. And this is a very important question in module 1, lesson 1. Only one question. Explain the Ricardian theory of comparative cost. Thank you very much.